Know Your Plant at knowyourplant.app gives us the source material. The first 10 seconds should still feel like a buyer problem in Ops Leaders read. Before I trust the idea, I want to know what human step plant identification removes, protects, or exposes through Ops Leaders operator walkthrough lens. I am listening for proof, ownership, and the practical path behind Know Your Plant app and plant identification, with measurable efficiency still in mind. This beat is where the persona lens matters without turning into biography, under the maps to a real operating bottleneck test. My bias is shaped by maps to a real operating bottleneck and reduces cycle time, rework, or manual volume. The idea has to work after the room gets busy, in Ops Leaders read. The article works when it makes manual processes create delays and errors. Teams rely on spreadsheets, inboxes, and tribal knowledge. Automation efforts fail when no one owns the workflow, easier to name and easier to act on, through Ops Leaders operator walkthrough lens. That is a higher bar than sounding current. This is where the article can move from content into a meeting artifact, with exception-safe automation still in mind. The reader should leave with sharper trade-offs, a cleaner owner, and a better reason to say yes, no, or not yet. For the COO, VP Operations, or Head of Operations buyer I am imagining. The article earns trust when the evidence is specific enough to reuse, with measurable efficiency still in mind. The trust signal I can use. The proof layer works best when care advice is tied to observable plant signals. Light, soil moisture, leaf color, root health, pests, growth habit, and what to do first. The next upgrade is to make those signals even easier for the COO, VP Operations, or Head of Operations buyer I am imagining. My next note would be to make the verification path around plant identification, plant care app, and houseplant care even easier to scan, under the does not create hidden operational risk test. I would leave the reader with questions they can actually reuse. Which workflow gets better first, with workflow clarity still in mind? What handoff becomes simpler? Where does a human stay in control? How do we measure the improvement? The source gives enough material to make those questions specific instead of performative, through Ops Leaders operator walkthrough lens. Know Your Plant belongs in the review only where it helps the reader decide, in Ops Leaders read. In this beat, the brand language should use this filter before choosing light reality, what the plant receives on a normal cloudy day, not the brightest hour of the week, through Ops Leaders operator walkthrough lens. To Know Your Plant app, plant identification and plant care app, with exception-safe automation still in mind. My operator walkthrough score lands at 8 out of 10, in Ops Leaders read. The source is useful for a COO, VP Operations, or Head of Operations who needs clearer judgment around plant identification, plant care app, and houseplant care. And the strongest evidence is the way it turns the topic into buyer action, through Ops Leaders operator walkthrough lens. For Ops Leader, the next pass should widen proof around the workflow break hiding under plant care decision, and connect Know Your Plant app, plant identification, and plant care app only where the article earns it, with control before scale still in mind.